super excited to be talking to you guys. Okay, let me get my stuff together. All right, so you can't see me, but I'm Corey Abraham, and just pretend that if you know what I look like, just pretend that my picture's there and I'm talking to you, and that you actually can see my face. But I'm going to talk today about finishing the year strong. If you have goals for 2017, it's imperative that you do the work now. So if you have a goal of elite next year, which even if you're a brand new coach, elite is possible, guys. You have to do a lot of work and it's not easy, but it's totally possible. So don't put that out of your mind. If that's something you want, you go after it. If you want to be premier, that's a level below elite. That's if you're a 2-star and above and you have enough points. And I'm not going to get into all the points and what they mean and how you get them and all of that right now. But just know that you have yes, I hit record. Okay, you totally have it in you to go after it and to achieve it if that's something that you really want to do. And I'm happy to help you get there. And I'm sure your upline, if I'm not your upline, that your upline is willing to help you as well. But if you have any goals like that, or if you just want to make more money, if you just want to have, build a business, build a bigger business, a larger organization, whatever your goal is, if you're income driven, if you're rate driven, if you just want to help more people, all of that comes down to what you do in this month. So 2017, we're going to get a fresh start, but we've got to have everything in place now to get to that point. So we really want to finish this year as strong as possible. So a couple things, housekeeping before we get started. You guys, anybody who hits SC5 will get, at least SC5 in December, gets a call with Elizabeth Gilbert. So I don't know if you've read Eat, Pray, Love. I read it a few years ago and really liked it. That she's going to be doing a call or a webinar actually. So that'll be really cool. And then challenge packs. This is the very last month that we're going to have any $140 challenge packs. So when I started, they were all like $205. So don't freak out and be like, oh my gosh, people won't buy them if they're not $140. That's nonsense. You have to show them the value, but they'll pay. I promise they will. And so Carl also, our CEO, also has some little tricks up his sleeve with BOD, Beachbody On Demand, that we're going to find out in January. He hasn't released any of it yet, even to the wall or any of us. So I don't know any inside information as of yet, but I do know that he is planning something that he will tell us all about in January related to Beachbody On Demand. But I do know that the challenge packs that are all on sale will no longer be on sale. So permanently off sale. Like the 21-day fix has been on sale most of this year. It's not going to ever be on sale again. So take advantage of that, leverage the heck out of that. If you know people who would do the fix or fix extreme or country heat or force or any of those, make sure you really leverage those right now because they're going off sale permanently. Then next week, we normally would have a sneak peek this week, but we're only doing one in December because December is crazy with the holidays and everything. So it's only next Thursday, which is the 15th. So that is the only one we have in December. So I would really start talking about recruiting or start thinking about recruiting and talking about the business opportunity and all of that with people starting now, because honestly, it is the very best time to become a coach. You get through training and all of that so you can hit the ground running in January when people are ready to make changes. They're already thinking about New Year's resolutions. Even if they're not acting on it, people right now are thinking about where they are, how they feel about themselves. They may not want to do anything until January, but I guarantee you they're weighing options. They're going, okay, how am I going to lose these 20 pounds? How am I going to lose these 50 pounds? This is the year I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 2017. How am I going to do that? They're thinking about all the different options. You want them to think of you. You want them to think of Beachbody. You want them to think of you. So this is the time you really want to start talking to people about challenge packs, getting in shape, New Year's resolutions, all of those things. But recruiting wise, this is really, really an important time. And I just got back from, some of you know, I just got back from the Eric Worre. He wrote GoPro. If you haven't read it, you should. It's one that I always recommend, especially newer coaches. It's so great for network marketing in particular, in our system, basically. But he did it. It was in Las Vegas. It was Eric Ward, who was a presenter, as well as Tony Robbins, as well as John Addison, who is the co-CEO of was the co-CEO of Primerica. Also, Richard Branson. So Richard Branson was there. Just an amazing group of people. A lot of women, especially. There was a women's panel. It was just an absolutely unbelievable event. But they talked so much about how fortunate we are to have residual income, and the fact that, you know, I mean, you guys know my story a little bit. Like, I worked my rear end off as an attorney and worked over 100 hours a week, every week. Usually it was more like 120 hours a week. And I just worked really, really hard at the expense of relationships and pretty much everything else. The only people I had time to even talk to were the people I worked with whom I worked. So anyway, I didn't really know. I kind of just felt like that's what you have to do. And that is what you have to do in that world. If you want to make partner, if you want to move up, same thing with corporate America, you pay your dues, right? You pay the price. So I didn't know there was any other way. I felt like if I was going to be successful, and I have 11 years higher education, if I was going to do something with all of that, then I was going to have to work my booty off. And I found out, much later, that there was another way, and there was something called residual income. And I didn't have to sell my soul to make any money, and I didn't have to, do it at the expense of children, having children, spending time with children, having a relationship with my husband or my parents, or anyone else for that matter, have actual friendships with people who weren't lawyers at work. So anyway, we talk so much about that and how this is just such a gift. And if you do this and you do it right and you treat it like a business and treat yourself like the CEO of this business, it is unbelievable, like what you can do with this, the gift that we have. And I want to talk to you a little bit about recruiting before I get started on the Health Bet stuff. I was thinking about when I was in high school. So I had a Buick Skylark. It was really cool. Had like this maroon Buick Skylark. And the car had terrible alignment. There wasn't anything you could do about it. It just had bad alignment. You could leave it at the best shop in town. You could get it adjusted, absolutely spot on perfect. When it hit a bump, 5 minutes later after you pick it up, boom, like right back out of alignment. It was just beyond my control. It's the way the car was. It was a condition that was beyond my control. Pretty soon I figured out what I had to do. If I wanted to make it go straight, I had to oversteer to the left, right? It really was that simple. I had to accept the condition that I couldn't control, and I had to compensate for it. So I had to oversteer to the left. And really this business is so much like that maroon Buick Skylark that I had in 1995, totally aging myself, or 1994, I think I even got it. But the things that drives us is human nature. People have problems in their lives. They have challenges. They quit. Like, we cannot stop any of that. We cannot make them not quit. And when they do, we can't make them come back or want to come back. There's not one thing in the world really that we can do about it. And that's just how those people are aligned. And if we want our businesses to grow, if we want, if I want Corey Abraham Fitness or Jackie Gist wants her business to grow, any of us, we have to own that, and we have to oversteer it towards recruiting. We have to focus everything we do on supporting the people who come into our business. And the message really has to constantly be recruiting. It can't be trying to revive people who have died, basically. I think John Addison's the one who says, I can't remember the exact quote. It's something about, it's easier to plant new flower. No, wait, what is it? Oh, it's easier to give birth than it is to raise someone from the dead, right? And giving birth is not fun, nor is it easy, but it is meant to be. Obviously, you cannot revive a dead person. So if somebody, it's on them. No matter what we do, no matter how much we want it for someone else, it's not going to happen unless they want it as much as you want it for them. So we just have to constantly be recruiting, and that's really our rudder. The thing that makes this business work is really simple. It's the new people that you're bringing in. If you don't have that happening, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So we really have to focus on recruiting, even if it's difficult. Hi, Wade. I don't know who Wade is, but sorry, just reading Jackie's comment. But I also wanted to talk a little bit about mindset and belief. John Addison at the convention I was at was talking about it, and he talks about how he went to the University of Georgia, and he grew up in this little like podunk town outside of Atlanta. I don't even remember the name of it, like Route 3, whatever, like, you know, not many people, just little bitty. He'd never even heard. He went to college. He was raised really well, had a great childhood, all of that. He was a bright kid, but he goes to college, University of Georgia. And the first day, some girl in his class asked about a syllabus, and he was like, what in the world is a syllabus? I've never even heard that word. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to be able to succeed in college. I have no idea what a syllabus is. Everybody else seems to know what's going on, what to expect, what to do. I'm totally lost. And he was talking about how demoralizing that was. How he went back to his dorm that very first day, called his dad and was like, I'm coming home. And his dad made him stay that through the semester and was like, you're going to just stick it out. And you know, then if you still feel that way, you can come back. You can come back home. But he talks about, I'm going to try to find, he actually talks about it in his book as well. I'm going to try to find exactly where he says it. But basically, they took, at the end of the semester, their final exam, he made a 98. And the girl who asked about the syllabus was sitting there next to him, and he looked at her grade. She made a 46. So he was talking about the fact that he just felt like it wasn't the girl who almost made him quit. It was himself. Like he almost made him quit. He thought he wasn't good enough. And he was talking about how, you know, it wasn't like he'd grown up with parents who told him he was a loser. He didn't come from a miserable home. He had two of the greatest parents anybody could wish for, and they never ever yelled at him, never hit him. They always encouraged him and believed in him. He had a really happy childhood, but there he was, like fully expecting himself to fail for absolutely no good reason. And he had this really deep sense of inadequacy and like a conviction that he wasn't good enough. And he was like, where does that come from? And he talks about the fact that it just is part of human nature and part of being a human in the world. Like, we're designed for success. And this was the part that really stuck with me, but we get conditioned for failure. So like, we're not supposed to be broke. We're not designed to settle for mediocrity. But somewhere along the line, like, the world just sort of beats you down, programming you with the idea that life is hard. Starts telling you that as soon as you get out of school, you're going to get a job, which is code for go find something that'll allow you to just get by. And then day by day, week by week, you gradually give up on your dreams and start accepting what you think life has to offer. Of course, if you had an especially tough time as a child, growing up with people who were constantly cutting you down or undermining your confidence, then it's easy to understand how you'd arrive at adulthood carrying that type of burden. But what he was seeing in himself just really shocked him, because that wasn't his childhood. It wasn't a Charles Dickens type childhood. And even if you grew up in the most supportive environment imaginable, it seems like part of our human nature is that we just beat up on ourselves. That circumstances put up roadblocks and potholes and all of that, but we seem to undermine our own forward motion. And it was just really interesting. He said, they say most plane crashes happen in the first 90 seconds after takeoff, and that careers are like that too. Like, we sabotage ourselves. We talk ourselves into outright failure, or its sullen cousin, which is mediocrity, before we've even gotten started. And he talks about how he almost quit in the first week of college. And if he had quit, you know, how different would his life be now? He's one of the top businessmen and entrepreneurs in America. And people start out often with the whole I'm going to conquer the world mindset. And then when the years tick by, the optimism fades and they start living in the past. And by the time they're 20, they're reminiscing about the high school football. I always think of Al Bundy and Polk High School, Married with Children, where he was like, I'm back in high school and I played football. And he was like a big stud or whatever. But by 25, they talk about, what they did in college. When people are 30, just the best of their life is behind them. And then there are 80-year-olds who are incredibly young, or 50-year-olds who see life differently. Like, they still have so many great years ahead of them. And that's just really important. And he says he believes the single most important factor in our success is to take responsibility for where we are in our life and for moving forward from there. And that we're the people who sit where we sit, and the ones whose task it is to figure out what we need to do now to get someplace better. And he said, you'll never rise above the image you have of yourself. The person in charge of that image is you. And you guys have heard, you know, and I said this on our page today, like whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. And it's so true. But it's true in this business as well. Like people start off so fired up, and then, you know, they hear no's, and somebody quits, and there's some hardships, and then they think they're not cut out for it. Or, you know, Corey or whomever else is successful is doing something different. And that's just not the case. I can promise you it's not. It's consistency every day. Even when I hear no's, like I completely divorce myself from any outcome. I don't care if I hear no, like that's not my job to get somebody to say yes. My job is to put it out there. My job is to send the invite. My job is to be consistent in my workout. My job is to share, to come every day sharing and being consistent. And that is my job, and inviting people, not just posting, because honestly, I post every day, 5 times at least every day on my like page, but not on my personal page. But I send invites still at this point in my business, 4 years in, every single day, with like there's just no exception. Every day of my life, I send invites. And I have for 4 years. And so if you think that, you know, I do something different or someone else does, it's just not the case. So I'm just consistent every single day. And if I'm in Vegas, I'm still going to be consistent. If I'm, you know, whatever, if it's Thanksgiving, I'm still going to be consistent. Or I'm going to double up another day. And, you know, if I'm taking that day off, then I double up a different day. But just no excuses. There's absolutely nothing that I do that's different. But I am very focused on recruiting right now. And you guys need to be as well. So if you haven't brought on a new coach in a while, you need to think about how much you've actually been putting the opportunity out there. And I don't just mean a general post. I mean a personal invitation. So struggle finding people to invite? Not really, no. I have people who I talked to in the past, and I can invite them again, or and I never put pressure on people. And I meet so many people through my like page. I mean, I'm constantly building. So that's part of my power hour every single day, is to find, to expand my market. So no, I really don't. I have some people come to me, but I would not hit Success Club every single month if I just waited for people to come to me. And neither will you, frankly. You will have there will be sometimes when you sell challenge packs that way. Absolutely, 100% that will happen, based on, you know, maybe you had a transformation, or you made a great post or whatever. You will sell some challenge packs that way. But the vast majority of them will come from your personal invites, and probably personal invites from like 6 months ago or 3 months ago. They start watching you after you send the invite, and then they message you out of the blue, you know, months later, because they've been watching your consistency. And that's the same with recruiting, for coaching. They're watching your consistency. Nobody's going to jump on board with you if they see you posting, you know, for a week, and then they don't see anything from you for a month. They're not ever going to jump in with you. Are you the kind of person who can lead them out of debt? Are you the kind of person who can help them, you know, stay home with their kids, or whatever their financial goals are? If you're inconsistent, do you really believe they're going to jump in with you? That's, I mean, not to give a whole lot of tough love tonight, but that's the truth. Like, people are not going to jump in with you unless you are consistent, and that you need to be consistent in your fitness journey as well. If you are the person who's falling off every single weekend, I know we all fall off, you know, sometimes, but if you're the person who's consistently falling off, talking about how you fell off this weekend, if you do that every single weekend, you're going to have a really hard time getting people to jump in with you. Yes, they'll relate, but it's not all about relating. They need somebody who can help them rise above. They need somebody who can help them get through those struggles that they also have. And they're not going to choose you if you are consistently falling off the wagon every other day or every weekend or whatever. And if you're just going dark, if they don't see anything from you on Facebook for a few days or a week or whatever, that's a problem, because anybody who wants to do this wants somebody who they can trust. Trust is huge in our business. It's everything. It's a relationship building. This is a people business, and this is really all about relationships. And they are choosing you if they trust you. They are not going to choose you if they do not trust you. They're not going to give you their money. They're not going to buy a challenge pack from you. They're certainly not going to be a coach with you. So that is first and foremost. And you have to be consistent for those reasons. Which leads me to the game plan for January. I'm going to go ahead and jump in because I want to make sure I have time to talk about it because it's important. So first of all, anytime you post about this, it needs to be Beachbody Health Bet, not just Health Bet, but Health Bet. It's a compliance issue. So legally, we have to say Beachbody Health Bet. So make sure all of your posts actually use all three of those words. Just a little aside. But this time, last time it started at like 1 million or whatever. This time, the minimum is 2 million. So it's going to be between 2 and 3 million this time. So there's more money at stake. Let me see, 70% of the people who participated last time, I guess they were polled, 70% said that they reached their goals. 70% of the people who took part in the health bet said they reached their goals. That's huge. You need to use that when you're talking with people about the health bet. The people who did it last time, 70% of them said they actually reached their health and fitness goals. So if somebody's thinking about, if they're on the fence, whatever, like throw that out there, use that stat. It's huge. I mean, it's basically saying because they had the accountability, because they had to check in every single day with their shake, with their workout, that they stayed the course and that they met their goals. I don't know. I think all the participants were polled. I don't know if everybody actually responded. Like you may have gotten one and not responded, but I guess all the people who responded. Okay, I think everybody who actually was enrolled, Laura, everyone who was actually enrolled in the app for the challenge group. Okay, so how are we going to do this? You are going to start tomorrow by posting 3 to 5 transformations. And yes, it's a lot, but that's really what speaks the most to people. And this, like I said earlier, this is when everybody's thinking about New Year's resolutions. This is when everybody's like, that's on their mind. How am I going to do this? What gym am I going to choose? What program am I going to choose? Whatever. You need to be in their head. So you want to do 3 to 5 each Tuesday of the month of December. So it starts tomorrow. Now you can do your own, certainly, at least occasionally. You can do anybody from our team. You can go to the Beachbody blog, to our online office. There's a whole section on success stories. You can even choose the program. One of them each time I would choose from your program. So every Tuesday, one of the transformations, in my opinion, should be from your program. If you're doing Core to Force, then one of them should be Core to Force, or your own or whatever. One of them could be 21 Day Fix, whatever. But you should do definitely one from the program you are doing each Tuesday. So write that down in your calendar, at least 3 to 5 transformations, different times throughout the day. I don't just want to see a picture. You need to include the story. That's the power, right? Talk about how they felt, the changes they made, how they feel now. If you're talking about yourself, not just physical, but you can talk about how you felt, how you feel now. People relate to the how I felt part. So it's really important to share the story and talk about why somebody jumped in, how they felt, where they were struggling, all of those things. So really address that and then talk about how they feel now, what has changed. So that happens every Tuesday. Now on Sunday night, you are not going to do your usual invite. You're going to go live on Facebook. This is my preference. If you have to tape it, whatever. I mean, if you have to record it, tape it, that's really aging myself. If you have to record it, then do that. But live, go live. And if you can, if you just get brave, just hit live. I promise it's not that difficult. And it gets easier the more you do it too. But go live Sunday night and announce the Beachbody Health Bet. Talk about what it is. You're going to talk about the fact that there are $2 million at stake, $2 to $3 million, max $3 million, minimum $2 million. And basically tell them what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to be enrolled in your accountability group. They have to log Shakeology 5 times a week. They have to, with a picture, they have to log 3 workouts a week. So just like last time, exactly the same. And then you can talk about the fact that 70% of the people who participated last time said they did reach their health and fitness goals. Okay, so that's what you're going to say and talk about when it starts, January 9th. You're going to talk about the fact that it's 30 days, all through the free app, all of that. And so you can help them pick the program, all of those things. So basically you're doing your invite. So be creative with that, but you're doing your invite and talking about the health bet on a live video on Sunday. I would recommend later Sunday. So Sunday evening is best tonight. 7 and 9 p.m. is really when you get the most traffic. And that's on the 11th. Then you're going to do a second to last call on the 14th. So that's Wednesday. So you are going to just do a little follow-up there. And then on the 16th, and the reason we're doing this, well, I'll tell you in a second. Okay, so the last call announcement will be on the 16th. And then challenge group, I'll get to that in a second. But so the reason I'm telling, like if you start advertising this in January, it's just too late. It's way too late to capitalize on this. So you need to start doing it now. Also, the holidays, right? You want to enjoy the holidays. You're not going to be able to enjoy the holidays if you are worried about getting challenge pack sales. And guess what? Nobody has money after Christmas. Between Christmas and New Year's, like people are not looking to spend money. So take care of it now. And this is what I do with every single month. So I basically look backwards. I figure out what's going on in the month. I figure out when my challenge group needs to start. I mean, this is how you think like a CEO. This is why I'm explaining my mindset and all of this, because I want you to think about how you're going to do this every single month. I don't normally go through exactly how I set my month up, but you have to allow enough time on social media for at least 3 call to actions, right? I like to do 3 call to actions for every challenge group. So you need to look back at the calendar, think about when it's going to start. We already know when it's going to start this time because they told us January 9th is when the Health Bet starts. So look at the calendar. You need to advertise 3 times call to action prior to that group. You know they need 5 to 7 days for time to order and get their goods in. So count back from there. And then you know you need time to build relationships. You don't want to rush customers. You can't rush that trust, right? You actually can't just like throw it out and go, we're starting tomorrow and then hope you get 3 people. It doesn't work that way. So you really just need to work backwards there. Christmas, like I said, nobody's going to want to order then. You have distractions. They won't want to spend more money after Christmas. So those are all things you need to consider when you're setting up your month. And then invite like heck about the Health Bet. Invite all of your old challengers, not just new people. You want to re-engage your old challengers, your discount coaches who are already on Shakeology, or who maybe are inactive but need to be active again. Like engage all of those people, re-engage. This is the perfect time to do that. So invite old challengers, which you post if you have an alumni group or something like that. And then also, of course, advertise for new ones. And then on the 19th, I am going to do a live challenge group sneak peek, kind of like the sneak peeks we do for recruiting. But I'm going to tell people what a challenge group is. You can invite people to this. I'm going to talk about what a challenge group is, what they can expect, give transformation stories from people who have been in our groups, answer questions they have, like basically just kind of all the ins and outs. So for people who are on the fence, they don't really understand or whatever, they just want more information, it's a good opportunity to invite them. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as it gets closer, but that's going to be on the 19th. And I'll just probably do it live on Facebook. So there's that. And then the other thing is I am going to do like a flash sale. Wait, hold on. Let me read the chat real fast. Potential customers that aren't. Most of mine are, they might not say they're thinking about it, but when you invite them, then they're going to start thinking about it. So, I think when people realize like we're just a couple weeks away from Christmas and New Year's and all of that, it's going to kind of be an awakening, especially once they've shopped and maybe clothes don't fit and all of that. They're definitely going to start thinking about it. Okay, so thanks, Caitlin. So anyway, then the other thing I'm going to do is a little sort of flash sale. You can call it what you want. I'm calling it a flash sale. But and I was also going to say recruiting stuff. Those people, your new coaches, if you're recruiting people who have not been challengers before, people who are going to be new to the business and new to all of it, like it's the perfect time to get them enrolled too as challengers for the Beachbody Health Bet. So if that's their first challenge group, they can see how it works. They can work on the transformation themselves and all of that. And so that's a really great time too for them to get involved. Okay, so I'm going to do a little December flash sale, basically incentivize. I'm going to only choose 3 customers, I think, at this point. But new customers, to attract them early. And basically, I'm going to put them into my forever group, like an alumni group, or if you have an ongoing group, you can put them in that. But basically incentivize it. So maybe you want to put them in like a clean eating group or a crock pot group or whatever, to kind of in a holding cell to wait until January 9th for that group, because I'm not running any new groups in December. But you can, maybe if you're doing a short clean eating group or something like that, you can put them in there, a fitness group, like some of you are doing 12 days of Christmas or fitness or whatever. So those would work too. But you basically want to incentivize it. Like Amazon Prime has a bunch of little, I can't even think of the name of the business right now, but they do these really cool fitness hair ties. They have like little sayings and stuff on them. Like you could do something like that, or a Fixate cookbook, or Energize packets work really, really well, or Hydrate, something like that, especially if they are doing like Core to Force, Recover, anything like that. But make sure you're not giving away the farm. Like you don't want to incentivize, first of all, policies and procedures says we cannot incentivize more than $25. So if you see somebody like offering more than that, it's actually not even allowed. So, basically you're giving away your commission when you do that. And that's not what I would ever advocate. It kind of devalues the product. I'm from a marketing background, and it devalues your product when you're giving. Like we never gave tickets away. I was the marketing director for Baylor for the athletic department, and we didn't give away tickets even when we sucked big time, because it devalues your ticket. Like nobody's going to pay when they can get it for free. So you just set you up for problems down the road. But you need to know how valuable it is. You need to be able to explain the value and have people see that it's valuable. And if you're going to give away something fun and something that's useful, like a hair tie that's not going to cost you a lot, or a couple of Energize packets or whatever. That basically you incentivize them, and then one of the perks will be that they can be in your they'll have a secured place in your challenge group come January 9th. So this is an example of what I would post, like a transformation picture of myself, maybe, though I don't really have any transformations, especially being pregnant now. I'm only going the other way at this point, probably. But I would say something like, just something catchy that's going to catch their attention. Like Shakeology is on sale, which clearly it's not. But then did that catch your attention? I kid, it really isn't. But I know you're dying to start your weight loss health plan now as opposed to waiting for January. Come on, who wants to start January 10 to 15 pounds over what you are right now? That would be insane. We can come up with an easy plan to get started and even lose weight and still enjoy the holidays. So here's what I propose. I'm looking for 3 lucky new customers to take advantage of my December flash sale. I have a selection of 3 fitness programs, which are my favorites, with Shakeology that are on sale. Plus, I'm throwing in a special incentive as well. That'll be the only time I do this in December, so don't wait. An added incentive is that you'll have secured your spot for the biggest Beachbody Health Bet to date that begins in January, up to $3 million up for grabs. Not too shabby, huh? Okay, so here we go. Message me or drop your email to get the ball rolling. Something like that. That's just an example. I'll post it. It's so something like that for a little flash sale or whatever to help you get some challenge packs in the books. And then you'll start advertising on the 11th, 14th, and 16th for your challenge group that's going to start on January the 9th. But if the people sign up early, you don't want them having to wait and sit there a month if they're ready. So you go ahead, put them in your forever group, alumni group, any crockpot group or clean eating group you have, whatever. You wouldn't be working with them during that time, but offer them a little incentive. Make sure they know that they have an assured spot in your Health Bet Challenge. Now, we're not going to run our Health Bet Challenge as one big team. It's just too much in the app. So plus the app only holds like 250 or something like that per group. So ours will be way, way bigger than that. And so you're gonna do your own basically there, but make sure you're going with other people, because going with other coaches, because it just keeps it a lot more lively. And it's a lot more fun if you are doing it with other people. But really just start to think and strategize like a business owner. This is stuff that we want to be doing every single month. You want to look back and think about all the different factors that are going to affect your timeline hitting Success Club, any events that could be impactful or holidays or anything like that. But like I said, it's the best time to bring on new coaches. It's when people are going to start thinking about health and fitness, all of that. So hold on, let me see. Let me look at my notes and see if I covered everything I wanted to. Oh yeah, so the other thing is just decide that you are going for not the minimum, not SC5. Like, why not set it at SC10, like every single month, SC10. And worst case scenario, you hit 5. I set mine for 20. That's my goal. I know if I don't hit 20, I'm still going to hit, 16, 17, 18, whatever. But I'm not going to be below 10, that's for sure. So you've got to change your mindset there. You've got to shift it and think about, SC10 minimum, and just keep going. If you hit 5 early in the month, don't just stop and wait till the next month, because your momentum stops. And that's a problem. Once your momentum stops, once the well has the running water, you don't want to stop it again and then have to pump forever to get the water flowing again. You want to make sure you just keep on consistently pumping that well. So make sure that you have that mindset of abundance and not scarcity. There's so many people who need our help. Don't get to 5 and stop. Or don't go, oh my gosh, I just want to get 5 points. Get 10, like dream bigger. Like if you want to do something with this business, and you can, it's totally up to you. Remember what I said from John Addison. It gets completely up to you what you do with this business. All of us have the same opportunity. So make sure that you take the opportunity and run with it. Don't just get 5, get the bare minimum and stop. So really try to shift that mindset. Go, I can and I will hit 10 this month. Absolutely can. And then you're going to have an awesome January to start. People are going to be getting good results. You're going to have the residual income from that. You're going to be bringing on coaches. They're going to see people transforming. Like, it's just a really great time in our business. The first few months of the year are the best time in the business, really, like January through really all the way up until like May, when people are getting ready for summer. Like, those first 5 months are really, really solid. So do the work now. Write it all down. If you didn't, maybe listen again or whatever, but start planning your post. Think about what you're going to say. Get those transformations ready for Tuesdays, and just do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Do the work. Okay. Do you have any questions? December calendar. I posted it on the 30th of November. That calendar was just a general posting calendar. Jessica. Okay. Any other questions? We have less than a minute on the Zoom. But if you have questions, ask away. We can find all the details. Health Bet. Yeah, there's an FAQ on it. You can look it up. I don't know the number right off, but there's definitely an FAQ. And it's under Coach Breaking News too. It'll even tell you the FAQ. I just don't have it pulled up right now. I feel like 1080. There you go. There was something else I was going to tell you, but I don't remember what it was. So I'll post the script for that post. I mean, I'm not saying it's a great one or to use it or anything like that, but it's a jumping off point. It was just, the top of my head. So I wouldn't necessarily copy it, but you can certainly tweak it, make it your own, make it something fabulous. All right. So you guys have an awesome evening, and I'll post that